Hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best, bet with WSB. I trust that everybody is fine and you had a good Christmas, and of course enjoying the silly season, the holiday season, wherever you're watching this episode of Trackside. And it is the last weekend before we get into the new year. In fact, it's not the last weekend before we get into the new year. We're actually previewing a New Year's Day race meeting as well. So it's 2022, 2023 packed in one show. It's racing on Saturday the 31st at Kenilworth, and then we move over to the 1st, which is at Greyville. So what's happening on the show? Well, I picked out 4 horses, just keeping it simple for the show. Just 4 horses, and we'll see what happens and how the guys price up on the World Sports Betting menu. So I've got 2 horses on Saturday the 31st of December 2022 and 2 horses on the 1st of January 2023. Let's begin with our 4 to follow. Away we go. And our day will begin in race number 6 at Kenilworth, and I like the look of one filly here. I have a lot of respect. Please don't get me wrong. Number 1, Winter Greeting, looks like a really nice filly from the Sean Terry stable. She's unbeaten, and she'll be having her first run in Cape Town. But I really like the look of this filly from a very informed stable of Candice Bass-Robertson called Fun Zone. Now, her last start, she was tried in the World Sports Betting fillies, guineas, against some of the best of her generation. And when you have a look at that race, she was the lowest rated filly in that field at 91, and one could say she ran accordingly. But nevertheless, they decided to take their chance, and she's now back in handicap company. This is a Fillies and Mares 90 handicap, over 1400 meters. And having watched most of her races down in Cape Town, I think she is a filly that prefers to be held up for a run, given a chance, given a patient ride. So draw 8 out of 9 runners now, because at the time of recording, number 9 is a scratching. So she'll come into 8 out of 9 runners. And I think that's a fair draw for her, because she's not going to be hustled and bustled in the early part of the race to try and get a position. Garrett Wright seems to get on supremely well with her. And although she's still a one-time winner, I think Candice Bass-Robertson, that is, has found a field for her, carrying 55.5 kgs. And I think she looks like she's in the right place at the right time to notch up that second career win. Personally, I feel whatever beats her will win. And number 8, Fun Zone. If her mind's on the job and she does find a good finish, I have no doubt she is the filly to beat in race number 6, horse number 8, Fun Zone. Then we stick with Kenilworth, and the next runner I like comes up in race number 8, and it's the same stable. It's the Candice Bass-Robertson yard, but this time it's Elder de Meyer on, and it's number 9, Charlie Malone. Now, it was proving a very frustrating, and for some may have been a costly horse as well to follow in the maiden ranks, where it was quietly fancied on a number of occasions, but it took a bit of time. It took 9 starts to crack that maiden win, to break the ice, and he did it at his penultimate start. But what was really encouraging and promising about this individual was his post-maiden run. And after watching that effort, he's not going to retire one-time winner. It was a big field over that 1200 meter trip at Kenilworth, and he found himself at the back of the field at the 800. At the 400, there was a wall of horses in front of him, and what a finish he found to run second, just finding one better on the day when beaten by Ensuing. That post-maiden run was a pleasing effort and a promising run, and I think even though this horse is carrying 61 kgs, I had a good look at the opposition. Hopefully he's not as far back as he was last time out, because it can get tricky when you're trying to weave your way through horses. You need a lot of luck to go your way. But I think number 9, Charlie Malone, on that last start, going to judge him purely on that post-maiden run. Whatever beats him wins the 8th at Kenilworth. So those are our 2 runners at Kenilworth. Then we move over to Greyville on Sunday the 1st, and it's an early start for Trackside because I like a horse in the first race, and I think this is the best bet on the card at Greyville. 1400 meters, you can bank the cash here in race number 1. Have a strike on the head as well. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares, and the filly's name is Princess Joe. Canamea and DeMello will team up together. What a promising introduction by this filly. She wasn't the smartest or the most alert out the gates when the starter says go on debut, and she lost a couple of lengths. She wasn't too far off them, I must add. You know, after losing that start and a favorable position, considering she was drawn 2 out of the 14 runners and Greyville around the turn, she still found herself in midfield turning into the straight, and she found a good finish. She was one of the faster finishers on the day, and yeah, Shanta's Pride was the winner. Looked like the right horse in the field that day as well, but I'm sure the connections and of course the stable and the jockey would have been really encouraged the way she finished off that day. That run certain to have brought her on nicely, and having watched that debut run, I think this is the natural move. 200 meters further is going to suit her much better. In fact, I think once she goes over a mile plus, you're going to see the best of her number 2, Princess Joe. So all she needs to do is just be a bit more alert, just out those starting stalls, and I think if she jumps on terms, whatever beats her wins. I'm very confident that she'll be hard to beat after watching her first time out, number 2, Princess Joe, in race number 1. Then we move along to race number 5, and yeah, race number 5, as soon as I mention that, some of you may be saying, well, Deez, I hope it's the horse that you guys are involved in that you're tipping, and it is. Yeah, on this Buy Racing Club with Marlon Naika and Dayanand Chinsami. The horse's name is Captain of the Green. Now, let's give you some insight into what's been happening with this horse. He traveled down to Cape Town and he was carded to run in the Ready to Run race. That was the plan, for him to go down to Cape Town, because he qualified for that race and it was for decent stake money as well. Unfortunately, there was a slight issue with him. It was nothing serious, and just as a precaution, it was decided not to run him. And immediately after that hiccup, he was put on a float and sent back home. And the word from the stable of Garrett Finzale is that he's doing exceptionally well back home, and he's over the slight hiccup he had and the slight issue he's had. That's no problem with him. He's putting up some really good work back home, and Garrett has found a race for him here over this 1600 meter trip. And yeah, there have to be concerns. You know, he's number 1 that he's drawn 11 out of the 12 runners. But more importantly for me, we're going to see, you know, the handicapper's got him right at an 81 as a 3-year-old, because he's taking on 2, 4, and 5-time winners in this field, tried and tested, hard-knocking horses, and he's giving some of them weight as well. So this will be a true test for him. The positive is, and we all know that, you know, having watched him race, that he is crying out for the extra distance. You're going to see the best of this horse when he goes 1600 meters plus. Well, he goes over a mile here, and you know, just judging by the comments and the videos that's been posted and sent to the group, he's a horse that it could be very exciting for the connections over the next 6 months or so, if he continues to improve in his work, and of course proves it at the racetrack as well. So this is a good test for him. With regards to fitness and well-being, I can tell you that it's all systems go, and we are hoping that if he brings his homework to the track, there is confidence from the yard that he will be a massive runner in this field, and we're expecting him to win. So that's why we're tipping him on Trackside here. Number 11, Captain of the Green. So you got your 2 horses in Cape Town, you got your 2 horses in KZN, and all that's left for me to say is, on behalf of World Sports Betting, I wish you all the best. You know, hopefully 2022 has been a fair year for you, especially when it comes to punting. If not, on behalf of World Sports Betting and the team, we wish you all the best for 2023. May it turn out to be the year of your dreams. Thanks to all the punters, but more importantly and more especially, thanks to you, the valued customer. And from myself, Deez, Dayanand, until we meet again, which will be next year, you take care. Salani Kanashle.